Welcome to another special edition of Popcorn Bucket List. Today we are going to be talking about the Oscars. This was kind of a last-minute idea, so I don't know how well this is going to work. I don't know. We might get this done in 5 minutes. I don't know.
Who knows?
I never know how any of this is going to go. But basically, I've thrown down the gauntlet. I forgot I was going to have a glove. A stray glove. I can't find the other pair for. I was going to make into a gauntlet and throw it down as a prop.
That'd be cool.
So just use your imaginations. It's the gauntlet. It's thrown down. I'm bringing the challenge to you. We're gonna make some bets here, some predictions of the Oscars. Some of these categories we're a little bit more versed and well known in. Some of these
not so much.
I'm gonna get a dartboard at home. I'm just gonna throw at it and see what we got here. But basically, we're gonna challenge ourselves. There are 23 categories, so there are 23 possible points here between the two of us to try and one-up each other. And we talked about this, in the unlikely event of the tie, we're just going to get this out here right away, we're going to bet on the runtime of the Oscars. Regardless of when it starts, the official broadcast time is supposed to start 5:30 Central Time. So we're going to use that as our beginning point. Regardless of whether or not it actually starts early or late, we're going to use that as the beginning point. Whoever gets closer to betting the runtime of the Oscars, all 3 hours of it probably.
Yep.
As this usually goes.
You trying to trick me? Are you
What?
trying to?
What? mental. Yeah, I have like 7 minutes of mental games I've been playing on this guy before.
Is it going to be like a hybrid Zoom in-person thing, kind of?
I believe it is.
Because I have noticed when it's that, it goes a little bit quicker.
I was going to look up like the average times and everything, because this is going to be like the third year where like they don't have an official host.
Yeah.
But like, this is a whole new game here.
Cancel the Oscars. I think some of it too was like the theaters weren't open.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to watch all of these on Hulu or Netflix or HBO or Disney or On Demand or Stars or whatever else you can order movies on. Amazon. I like to watch movies at the theater, and you have a better chance of me watching a movie at a theater than on those other, at least big Oscar movies like this.
Yeah, not to divulge too much into this discussion, but I agree with you. I think in years past, when you win the Oscars, usually you get either a re-release if you have already been released wide, or you get released
a
wide.
Wide release, yeah.
This might be the biggest win if you win the Oscar. Like in the past, usually every time there's a huge bump in box office because people get to see it in the theaters.
Yep.
This year especially, a lot of people probably have that mentality as well. I'm not going to order it. I want to see it in the theater. There could be way more riding on this Best Picture win this year than there have been in previous years, especially considering how, just the little research I've already done, there's not really a front runner, I would say.
No.
There is one that we'll talk about that has a lot of nominations, a lot of different categories, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the front runner for Best Picture. So, But let's just quick talk over some of our rules that we have here first, just to get them out there on the record. Like I said, each correct one will be 1 point.
1 point.
And so we have a possibility of a total of 23 points. Tiebreaker is betting on runtime. And here's the fun part, I think, for us. We've decided whoever loses or whoever wins gets to choose a movie-themed punishment for the loser.
Yep.
And we've also decided here we're not going to reveal that now, because we both want this extra week to come up with proper movie punishment for the loser.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next point. This is essentially part one of our Oscar special. We're going to maybe talk about a few of the nominees, but we want to get out this challenge here, let you guys know what we're doing, what we're planning on. We're giving ourselves the rest of this week to try and catch up on as many as we can, research, strategize, play mind games with the other.
Yep.
I'm going to sabotage you somehow. I don't know how.
I'm not going to let you go on my HBO to watch some of these if you need to.
We're gonna steal streaming services from. I'm gonna cut your internet.
Oh no, Jada, I'm sorry, because that's your internet.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do that. That's civilian. That's civilian crossfire. Then at that point, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of jerk, or am I? I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, we're gonna we're gonna basically have this competition we've established when we're gonna make our picks. We're gonna keep our own honor system. We're gonna keep our own points, and then next week, same day, we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about the Oscars. We're gonna talk about what was the biggest surprises, ones we thought we got wrong, right? Which ones we thought the Academy got wrong and right. We'll reveal who won. And in that day, we will reveal the punishment as well.
Yes.
And it will be a cold day in this studio.
Oh, baby.
I got some punishments I'm cooking up for you.
Ever since you said this, I've been thinking of a handful of things that I really enjoy that I know you would hate. And I'm trying to figure out how I can work multiples into one. It'll be interesting.
That will be on most days we are friends. On that day we will be enemies.
We will.
But is there anything I'm missing here? I think that's our challenge we're presenting to ourselves. Maybe if you want to challenge other of your friends out there, you moviegoer watchers, I think this could be a fun time.
Yeah, and if you guys have some ideas on how we should for bets,
or how we punish each other, maybe too. Well, that we'll take suggestions.
Yeah, there'll be
suggestions.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah. You know? So let's talk a little bit about the nominees here. I've had a chance to at least look at it over the past few days. Ryan, you've had a chance to look at it a little bit over here in some show prep. I think one of the main things to talk about is we do have a front runner in the nominations category as far as number of nominations.
Mank.
The David Fincher directed, Gary Oldman starring movie Mank, which is about Mankiewicz. Yeah, about Mank. I feel like we gotta re-edit that. You remember that show Monk?
Yes.
We gotta re-edit. I can't think of the actor's name either now, but it's gonna be like Monk.
Yeah.
Monk and Mank. That sounds like a great
I remember
crime drama.
I remember watching it and thinking, like, this guy is so weird.
Yeah, but he solves the crimes, man. He gets the job done.
Yeah, he
gets the job done. So yeah, we were. My plan was to only talk about like the top 5 in nominations here. Turns out Mank is number 1 with 10 nominations, and then it's a 6-way tie with 6 nominations. So essentially, this became top 5 with 2 honorable mentions in no particular order.
Perfect.
So Mank, yes, this was the next Netflix one. One thing I did find interesting that people have pointed out. Turns out Mank was the front runner in the Golden Globes as well. I can't remember how many nominations it had, but I don't think it won any of its nominations either.
And that's kind of what we mean. Like, it might appear on paper like a front runner, but in reality, it's like, not so much. Like, just because you get nominated for something, but you keep losing, just
because you got a seat at the table doesn't mean you got the main course.
That's right. That's actually a great line.
It sounds like a great line, but as I'm thinking about it in my head, it makes no sense.
I liked it. I'm going to say it.
All right, you say it around town. See how many weird looks you get. But let's run down some of the other ones that we've got going on here. Judas and the Black Messiah is another one that is tied with the 6 nominations. 2 of those are in the acting category with Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya's. Totally agree with that. That might be the strongest part in the movie, in my opinion. So, also, we've got Nomadland. This is the Frances McDormand-led movie. This one's kind of been one of the more interesting. Out of all these movies, this might be the one I would be the most interested to see the behind the scenes of. Yeah. Because for those of you who don't know, this is a movie about Frances McDormand's character who's they live in these vans. This is an actual group of people out there who just travel. They basically camp out. Nomads, yes, exactly. And they actually had the real people who do this in this movie as like extras or as characters. And these people are kind of so cut off from society, they didn't know who Frances McDormand was. They didn't know that she was an actor. She was like, yeah, I do this for a living. And they're like, you do this for a living? Yeah. So I don't know. That just kind of seems like it'd be the funnest. Out of all these movies, that would be the funnest set to be on. Yeah. But we'll have to see if it all paid off in the end.
Yes, it will.
Another movie is The Trial of Chicago 7, also tied with 6 nominations. Now, believe it or not, this movie does share some similarities with Judas and the Black Messiah. The ending, I can't remember. Have you seen the Chicago 7 one?
I have not.
Okay, I can't remember if you'd seen that one or not. But basically, I'm not necessarily saying this would be a great double feature, actually, because their stories, even though they intertwine for a little bit there, they actually are kind of 2 separate stories, which is interesting. But if you kind of want to know a little bit more about that time period, this just gives you a couple different angles of what was going on. But yeah, not to spoil what happens, but the very ending of Judas and the Black Messiah is, I wouldn't say a huge turning point. Like, it doesn't reverberate throughout the entire film, but it is a huge moment in the moment that it's referenced in this movie.
Okay.
So, would be an interesting double feature just for the historical context. Not necessarily if you're looking for an intertwining story. Like,
I see. It reminds me of you're talking about 2 movies that kind of intersect a little bit. Reminds me of Churchill and Dunkirk. Like, they kind of came out around pretty close to the same time, and they were both like similar time period-ish and kind of intersected with each other, but not really. But those 2 movies, I would say you can at least re-edit them into like a timeline where it's almost like you could see Churchill like building up to it, and then you see what happens in Dunkirk, and then you kind of see the ending of Churchill. I wouldn't say you could necessarily do that with these, but yeah, it's very similar. Another one, I know this is one of your favorites, that is tied in the 6 nominations, Sound of Metal. Beautiful film.
Yeah, you've talked a lot about this movie in the past. I know you're going to be pulling for this one a lot as well.
I am.
Another big one, unfortunately, I missed my chance to see this one in the theaters. Hopefully, if it gets a lot of buzz, we'll come back, but Minari. I know this one was a front runner for a little bit. And then the final one in that 6-way tie is the Anthony Hopkins movie, The Father. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really hear anything about this movie.
I remember watching, I think, a trailer or maybe a teaser about this film a long time ago, a while ago, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Anthony Hopkins, and it was like, oh, this kind of looks interesting. I didn't really get much from it, and then just until I saw it on here, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think I even saw a trailer or anything like that. So I was even more in the weeds than you were on this one. But then, I saw the nominations list here. Let's see what some of the ones it got known for. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins scored a nomination here, but also his co-star Olivia Colman, I believe, scored a best or supporting actress nomination for this. It also is getting some praise for best adapted screenplay, editing, production design, and it is in that best picture race. Now, one thing I feel like we should mention, speaking of the best pictures, pretty much every category has 5 nominations, except for the best picture. It has 8 nominations. I'm going to present this to you now as a little something back to the competition. With the 8 nominations, there's a little less chance each one, statistically speaking, has to get the win.
So you're saying we should pick 2?
I was going to say winner gets 2 points.
2 points? Okay.
Or what do you maybe guess?
If you predict it,
pick 2 maybe?
See, I think if you predict it correctly, I like that. You get 2 points, or we each get 2 options, and then you'd only get 1 point if you get it right.
I like yours. I like yours better. We get an initial and then a backup.
Yep.
All right, let's go with that.
Okay.
This is how on the fly last minute this idea is. We're still debating the darn competition.
The rules.
As this is like in football, if they like walked up to the refs and they're like, okay, so what do you think? Should we do holding today? Should that be a rule or not? Or
don't they do that anyways?
Yeah, it sometimes seems like it. Like, I don't know, what should holding be? Tap someone on the shoulder? Yeah, we'll do that. Holding. All right. That'd actually almost make the game more interesting if they decided on certain rules at the time. They're like, oh yeah, turns out face mask. Yeah, that's totally cool.
That's all right. Just for the third
Just
period.
for today.
Yeah.
Just for today. But yeah, we just thought this would be a fun competition for us, something to kill the next few weeks here before our next monthly episode. Yeah, I think this could be interesting. I think there's going to be, I'm hoping, especially, there really hasn't been many front runners that I've heard about, that we'll see the awards kind of spread out amongst all these categories here. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see till Sunday.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to seeing it a little different. Different format. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us here on this episode, this part 1 of our Oscars special. Be sure to check back in next week to see which of us has picked the most winners correctly and which of us will be punished for our wrong choices. Also, if you have some ideas for maybe some movie punishments for us, be sure to put those in the comments below here. And as usual, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at